Good morning. I'm Patricia Green-Sotos of Gekko Yoga of Madison. And today I'm going to be doing the 12 poses that Dr. Fishman recommends for yoga to build bone strength. You can get this information either from one of his many books, or you can go to Loren, L-O-R-E-N, at sciatica, sciatica.org. Or just go to sciatica.org on the internet and you'll find the 12 poses he recommends for osteoporosis and to build bone strength. The 12 poses are 1, tree pose, 2, triangle pose, 3, warrior 2, 4, extended side angle, 5, revolved triangle. For that, I recommend you have a chair or a couch that you can use. 6 is a back bend, camel. 7, another back bend, cobra, bridge, or locust. You can choose any of those. 8, down dog. 9, supine leg stretch. 10, half fish twist. 11, supine leg twist. And 12, Shavasana. I'll be putting this into the alignment yoga recipe, and you can choose any of the pre-yoga exercises that you would like to do. Today, I'm going to do dead bug with action and resistance. We start off our yoga practice either seated or lying on your back in constructive rest for a grounding meditation. Take a couple of nice lung-filling breaths and exhale all the way out to the end. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel how your feet touch the back of your sacrum, your pelvis, the back of your chest wall, the back of your head. Relax your jaw. Relax the roof of the mouth, allowing the tongue to rest quietly in the lower jaw. Relax the muscles in your face. Relax the muscles in your neck, your upper chest, the back. Maybe allowing your palms to roll open towards the ceiling. Relax the muscles in your lower back. Each exhaling breath all the way out to the end. Notice the little pause at the end of the exhale. Rest in that pause. We begin our practice with dead bug. Knit your ribs. Bring one knee over the other. Flex your feet, arms up, bend your elbows. Inhale, right leg, left arm straighten. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale, coming back to the bent position. Moving opposite arm to opposite leg. Your ribs are knit. You're moving with your breath. Inhale when you straighten. Exhale when you bend. And now add on action and resistance. So try to keep your leg and arm bent while you straighten them. Try to keep them straight while you bend them. So you're turning on all of the muscles around the joint of the knee and the elbow. Make sure you're reaching the head of the humerus down into the ground so that you're pulling the head of the humerus down while you're reaching the elbow up to the ceiling. That's where you get the torque along with the action and resistance. One more round. And then bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a rock and a roll, and come up to tabletop. In tabletop, we're going to do cat-cow just as part of our warm-up. Hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, grounding with your feet. Externally rotate your upper arm bones. gently drawing the lower ribs into the back so that you have some core support. Exhale back into cat. Inhale forward into cow. Reaching your tailbone back and yet reaching the crown of your head forward so that you're finding length in your spine. Inhale with cow. Exhale with cat. Getting extension as you go into cow. Flexion as you go into cat. Getting the 6 movements of the spine. The next time you come into tabletop, wag the tail, look over your shoulder to the left, wag your tail to the left, exhale back to center, inhale here, wag to the right, exhale back to center, cat, flexion, cow, extension. So the other movement of the spine, take the right hand out to the side, bring it underneath the left, and you go into a twist as you bring your shoulder and your face down to the earth. Now you can also take your hand onto your back, you can take your arm up, but it's perfectly okay to use the support. Then pushing up, and again, exhale for cat, inhale for cow. Coming back, left arm goes out, left arm threads the needle underneath until you come all the way down. As you come down, maybe you take your hand onto your lower back, fingers pointing down. Maybe you take your arm up. You choose what level you would like to work at. And pushing up, cat, and cow. One more time, cat and cow. Coming into tabletop, taking your hands one hand breath forward and going into down dog. Now down dog isn't the first pose, but it's what we use throughout our practice to go from standing to seated. In down dog, your knees are bent. Externally rotate the upper arm bones. Push the floor away from you with your hands. Reach the pelvis back to the back. Let your head hang. End of the exhale, bend the knees. Look up to the hand. Extension between the shoulder blades. Then walk your feet forward. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, folding. Pushing down to come all the way up and back to mountain. So the first pose is tree pose. I'm going to do it sideways. In tree pose, your hands are on your hips. Bring your weight to the left side. Right heel goes to left ankle. Knee goes out to the side. Reach down with the foot so that you're tall through the spine, bringing your left hip in. Then you can raise your toes. You can raise your arms. You can keep your hands at heart center. You can take your leg and bring it all the way up into your thigh. But I like to keep my foot down because then when I lose my balance, I'm able to put my toes down to help me maintain the pose. And then going to the other side. Bringing your weight over to the right leg, left leg goes out. Hands at hips. Find your focal point. Raise your toes. Decide where you want your arms, either hands at heart on the hip, or you take your arms up overhead. Reach down with a foot and reach tall through the spine. Counter torque as you reach your hip headlight back as you reach your knee out. There is that pull between the long bone of the leg and the hip. And then foot down and coming, getting ready for another sun salutation. Inhale up, exhale, bend the knees, tip the pelvis, forward fold. Inhale, lengthening the spine. This is extension, so pull your fingers back towards your heels so that you get that lengthening and that extension. Exhale, fold. Pressing down to come all the way up and back to mountain. Adding on down dog, inhale up and forward fold. lengthening. Pull the fingers back towards the heel. Exhale, plant your hands, feet step back, down dog. Remember in down dog, now reach your shins forward, pull your thighs back, reach your pelvis back, create some torque in your long bones of the leg. Reach your heels towards your sits bones, turning on your hamstrings. All of those build bones. Exhale, coming forward into plank. Remember to keep your arm bones externally rotated. I'm going to run into that chair, aren't I? And then exhale, coming all the way down to prone mountain. Move that away. Let your toes, tops of your feet be on the ground. Hands are down by your heart. Press down on your hands, pull back, reach the crown of the head forward, reach the toes back. There's the lengthening in the spine. Ground the pubic bone with your exhale. Inhale, come up into baby cobra. Exhale, coming down, curl the toes and push back to down dog. End of the exhale, bend the knees, look up to the hands, get that extension, and then walk your feet forward. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, folding. Pushing down to come all the way up and back to mountain. So sumo, we like to do sumo every time. It's actually a pre-yoga exercise. Stepping wide. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, shins forward, sits bones back. See if you can feel that torque as you pull your shins forward, pull your thighs back, reach the sits bones back, triple flexion. Now add on action and resistance, trying to keep your legs straight while you bend, and then trying to keep them bent while you straighten. Moving with your breath. Exhale as you come down. Inhale as you come up. Exhale as you come down. Inhale as you come up. Left toes turn in, right toes turn out. Warrior two is the second pose. Exhale to bend the knee. Inhale to straighten. Continuing with action and resistance. Exhale to bend. Inhale to straighten. Try to keep your legs straight while you bend. Try to keep it bent while you straighten. Next time you bend, I'm going to get a little bit wider stance here. Next time you bend, pause here. Now reach your shin forward, pull the thigh back, and gently tuck the thigh underneath your sits bones. It's going to change where your pelvis is. It's going to add on the torque on those leg bones, which is where all of that wonderful osteoporosis, that's where we need that strength. Inhale here, exhale to tip over. Bringing your arm all the way down. Let your left hip rotate down, left shoulder rotates up. There's the twist between the shoulder blades. You can stay right here, or you can take your arm up. Extended side angle. Now you can also look down at your foot, and that helps with your balance, and then look up towards your fingers. This is number 3, extended side angle. When you inhale coming up into warrior 2, that's number 2 in Dr. Fishman's order. So in warrior 2, remember that left hip is rotating forward while your left shoulder rotates back. Reach the fingers forward. Hands to hips, straighten the knee, feet forward. We'll do that over to the other side. Right toes turn in, the heel goes out, left toes turn out. Inhale here, exhale to bend the knee. Couple of times without anything fancy, just to get the synovial fluids lubricating the joint. I've got a really bad knee. I have a brace on that knee, so
hopefully I don't collapse. Next time the knee bends, add on action of resistance. So keep it bent while you straighten and try to keep it straight while you bend. Feel that torque, the muscles pulling on the bones. Inhale to straighten, exhale to bend. Next time you bend, pausing here. Now feel the shin, reach the shin forward, pull the thigh back, and just slightly tuck the very top of your thigh bone into your sits bones, stabilizing your pelvis. Then, like a fulcrum, just tipping over right there at the pelvis and placing your hand onto your arm onto your thigh. Now the right hip rolls down, right shoulder rolls up. It's going to be kinder to your SI joint. If you have a sore SI joint, you can keep your hand on the joint or just keep your hip rolling down. You can also take your arm up. You can take your gaze up. You can look down at your foot so that you change the proprioception, change the ear position. Knit your ribs. With the next inhale coming up into Warrior Two. Warrior Two is number 2 in Dr. Fishman's. So the first one is tree pose, second is Warrior Two, extended side angle is 3. Straighten the knee, feet forward, and we'll do Sumo. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. You can always add on an action and resistance. The next one is triangle. So left toes turn in, heel out. Right toes turn out. Now you can use the chair for triangle if you like. So triangle, we now warm up so that we don't have to bend and straighten. This time we're going to go into triangle pose just from the straight leg. So tipping over because we've already warmed up that. Remember, the left hip rolls down, the left shoulder rolls up. Triangle pose, you can have your hand reach against and bring your arm up. You can slide down onto your shin and then reach your shin into your hands, press your hands into the shin. Pull the thigh bone back as you reach the shin in. There's some torque. Now you can also do it on the chair, if you bring the chair a little bit closer, and you can do triangle pose on the chair. And then revolve triangle, okay, here we go. So for revolve triangle, if you're gonna do it down here, I suggest you have a block. I'm gonna show it on the chair. Revolve triangle, you bring your hand down and look at the chair. Let your hip come down. You might shorten your stance a little bit. Then take your left hand into the center. Take your right hand onto the back of your hip. Press down with your left hand to open up your chest and then look over your right shoulder. Both legs are straight. Once again, you can, mostly we're going to keep our hands on our hips. If you like, you can take your arm up. Make sure you keep that hip rolling down as you take the shoulder rolling back so that you've got some support for your lower back, and then coming back. I like to go straight into down dog using the chair with revolved triangle. And the exhale, bend the knees, look up to the hands, walk the feet forward. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, folding. Bring your forehead all the way down to the chair. Inhale, coming up, back to mountain. So to do revolve triangle the other way, first we have to do triangle to the other side. And I guess I better bring the chair over there so that I can be showing that to you. So now your right toes go in, your left toes go out. Find your grounding first. Make sure that your pelvis is right directly. Don't be leaning forward or too far back. Have a nice straight upward position. Then tip all the way over towards your left leg. You can be right here. Remember, your right hip is now turning down as your right shoulder comes up. That brings the twist into the upper back. You can stay here. You can put your hand onto the chair, or you can bring your hand all the way down. Arm can come up, gaze can come up. Triangle pose. Reach the crown of the head forward, shin forward, thigh back slightly tucked under. Now to go into revolve triangle, we're going to place the hand onto the chair. We're going to bring our right hand down and we're going to twist looking around so that we're looking straight down with the chair. Take a little bit shorter stance. Then take your right hand into the center of the chair. Left hand goes behind. Press down with the right hand as you look over your left shoulder. You can stay here, or again, the arm can come up. I like to keep my hand right here so that my pelvis can be a little bit more stable. The twist doesn't go down into my lower back. One more breath. And then come back, look chair, bring your hands on, step back, and go into down dog. Down dog in the chair. This is a wonderful way to learn how to do down dog. You can do it at the gas station when you're filling the gas. You can do it on a couch. You can do it in the kitchen counter. You can do it at your desk. End of the exhale, bend the knees, look up to the hands, get that thoracic extension, then step forward. Inhale, lengthening, looking over. Exhale, fold, forehead to the chair, pushing down to come all the way up and back to mountain. You can put the chair aside so that you've got the use of your mat now that we've done revolve triangle. That's the one that I like to get done. So then we're going to come to the top of our mat and do down dog. Down dog is number 8. Inhale up and forward fold. Now you could skip this if we've already down dog on the chair if you prefer. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, plant your hands, feet, step back, down dog. In down dog, shins forward, thighs back. Push with your hands back, externally rotate the upper arm bone. Reach the pelvis another 2 inches behind you, let your head hang. Then come down onto your knees. Number 6 is a back bend, camel pose. Now you can fold your mat up and give yourself a little bit more padding, but I've got several layers here. For camel pose, you can have 2 blocks behind you if you like, or you can take your hands right onto your lower back, fingers pointing down, elbows back. That opens up your collarbones, and then reach your shins down into the mat. Reach your thigh bones towards the front of the mat and extend your heart towards the ceiling, opening up your neck. Now you can go back as far as you're able to. Maybe you can come back and you come all the way to the floor. I work at, remember we're supposed to work at the 40 to 60%. Don't work at your 100%. Work just at a place that works for you, where you can feel the stretch. Reach your pelvis forward, reach your chest up, reach the crown of the head to the wall behind you where it meets the ceiling. One more breath. Knit your ribs so that you've got that strength and that support. And then coming forward into child's pose. Let your hands go forward. Child's pose is not one of the poses, but it's one of the reverse poses you do after you do a back bend. Walk your hands over to the left side, right hand on top of left, getting that lateral bend of your spinal column. Then walk your hands over to the right, left hand on top of right, lateral bend the other direction. And then coming to the center. So number 7 is another back bend. So we're going to come forward into our tabletop position, and then you can choose if you'd like to lower down from here or if you'd like to come into plank pose first and try to see if you can lower down without being a wet noodle. Ground your pubic bone, press down with the hands, pull back, come up into baby cobra. Pull the heels towards the sits bones to raise the legs. Locust pose, hands behind you, palms, reach the fingers away, reach the crown of the head forward, reach the toes away, reach the heels towards the ceiling, all of that reaching, pulling on your bones. Then coming back down, curling your toes, and pushing to down dog, number 8. So we've already done down dog a couple of times, but here, down dog, number 8 in the list. For all of my students, I'll be sending out this lesson plan. If you're not one of my students and I don't have your email and you're seeing this on YouTube, then feel free to message me and I will send it to you. End of the exhale, come down onto your knees, walk your knees forward, and come all the way down onto the ground for bridge pose. Bridge pose is a wonderful pose. And I know it's a lot of back bends, so if you're doing this at night, don't do all these back bends, give up one of them. So for the bridge pose, your hands are down close to your heels. Take your hands to goalposts. The elbows are at your waist. Press down on the elbows to raise your chest. This is almost like fish. It's going to then bring your shoulder blades together passively. You're going to come back down into that position. Then you press down with the feet to raise the pelvis. Pull the heels towards your head. Reach the shins towards your heels as you come up into bridge pose. Nice lengthening. Shins forward, heels back. Reaching the pelvis towards the ceiling. Pressing down with the feet, pressing down with the hands, arm bones externally rotated, and slowly coming back down. One vertebra at a time, and then bringing your knees into your chest to give yourself a rock and a roll. And then roll over onto your side and come up to sit on either a blanket or a block. I'm going to reach for my blanket. We're going into half fish twist. Half fish twist is number 10. So there's a lot of ways to do half fish twist. You can start off with your legs forward, and then you can bring your right foot into your sits bones. Left leg can stay out. You can also bring the left leg down and under and twist it under, but I'm going to show it with it out. Then take your left arm up. You can take it over straight. You can do the waving position, or you can hold on to your knee. All of them are good poses. Choose which one you want to do, and whichever one you want to do the same thing on the other side. This one is external arm rotation. No, this one is internal arm rotation, sorry. This one is external arm rotation. So whichever you get, now reach the heel forward and down, pull the thigh back and down. Then as you look over your right shoulder, reach down with the sits bones tall through the spine, reaching to look over your right shoulder, lower ribs pull back towards the left. It's a very active pose. You're going in many different directions. So the heel is out and down. The thigh bone is back and down. The sits bones are down. Spine is up. Shoulder reaches back. Lower ribs go back in the other opposite direction towards the left. Exhale back to center. Did you get all that? And then bringing your left leg in. It's my sore knee, so I can't bring it in as far. Reach the right heel out, pull the thigh back. Reach down with the sits bones, tall through the spine. Take the arm over. I think I did this one, didn't I? And then the hands behind you. So now your left hand is behind you. Fingers point forward. Remember, when you take your arm behind midline, it's internal rotation. But the arm bone reaches broad so that your collarbones are broad. So shin, heel forward, thigh back, hip bone down, head up, looking over your left shoulder, lower ribs go back to the right. There's all of that torque in this pose. Half fish twist. I often will do all three varieties with the internal arm and with the external arm and with the straight arm, because half fish twist is such a great twist for you. And as you come out, bring your leg forward. We can come off of your blanket and come down to the mat for supine leg stretch. Getting your strap. First, arrive in constructive rest. Take a breath or two. Exhale all the way out. Rest in the end of the exhale. We're always in such a hurry. Try to arrive in each pose instead of rushing ahead to the next. Then take the strap, put it around the ball of the foot. Notice it's over my face, but then let your leg get straight. Give yourself enough strap that you can take your left leg out, straighten your right knee. Now, as you reach your left heel out, reach the crown of the head, the back of the head towards the wall behind you. Then push against the strap, pull the arm bones down to the back of the socket. Can you see how that works when I pull my arm bones down to the ground? So my torque is reaching the foot up, pulling the thigh down, pulling the arm down. Now, can you relax through all of this? If you like, you can rotate toes out, heel in, heel out. And then the 11th pose is to take it out to the side. So take your left arm out, inhale here, exhale, taking the right leg out only as far as you can keep your left hip down on the ground. So as soon as that hip comes up, then you come back up until your pelvis is neutral and only go out as far as you can go and keep your pelvis neutral. For most of us, it's not going to be out very far. Remember, you're grounding with your whole other opposite side. Then coming up and coming across, reaching over with the other hand, getting that IT band stretch. And then coming up, can you see Molly here on the couch? She's so quiet, you don't even know she's here. And then bending the knee into the armpit and release. Outstretching, maybe taking a moment or two to notice the difference between the one side that you've done the pose, and coming back to constructive rest. Exhale all the way out. Take the strap, put it on the ball of the left foot. Only give yourself enough strap until your knee is straight with your right leg out, reaching out and down, head, back of the head, reaching in the opposite direction. Foot reaching towards the ceiling, arm bones reaching down to the ground. You see how that moves my leg way back up. If you find that that brings your knee up, then you're going too far. That knee needs to be straight and down, the thigh as close to the ground as possible. That means your pelvis is neutral rather than trying to twist the pelvis and bringing it up off of the ground. Try bringing your lower back onto the ground by knitting your ribs. So bring your lower ribs down towards your sacrum. So that's down towards the ground and down towards the foot of your mat. Then taking both straps into your left hand, grounding the right side. Inhale here, exhale out only as far as you can go and still keep your whole right side grounded, or until you run into Molly, whichever the case might be.
Remember, arm bones are pulling down. Leg and arm come up. Reach over with your opposite hand for that IT band stretch. And then coming back to center. We didn't rotate the foot out. Toes in, heel out. Toes out, heel in. One last breath. And then bend the knees, the knee, and bring it into your armpit and outstretch your leg. So that was pose number, that was pose number 11. So now we are at Savasana. In Shavasana, let your heels reach forward, crown of the head towards the back of the wall behind you, and then relax into that space, externally rotating your upper arm bones so that your palms face the ceiling. If it's hot, you can take your legs apart so that you can have less, more cooling, less heating. If it's cold, you can keep your legs together. Same with the arms, closer in if it's cold. Maybe putting a blanket on. Come back to your 3 fundamentals. Grounding, relaxing, exhaling. Rest in your exhale. Your Shavasana can be longer. When you're ready to get up, you bend your knees. Please take the time if you need to. And then roll over onto your side, protecting your head. Take a breath or 2 here. Try to practice transitions being gentle and compassionate with your body. So take the top leg and reach it out. Top hand comes to the mat and you roll forward and up to come back to your seated position. Roll forward on your sits bones, hands on your knees, then pull your knees towards the back of the body. Notice how that rolls your pelvis forward, activates my new favorite muscle, latissimus dorsi, posterior deltoids. Hands to heart center. Center yourself. Ground down into your sits bones, tall through the spine. Then we raise our hands in thanksgiving for the time we've spent together. Hands back to heart center. As we step off our mat, may we walk with love and compassion, first for ourselves, and then for all those we meet. Namaste.